What's your professional voice, actually?
I'm Autumn Brown, a queer science fiction writer and a theologian, a mother of dragons and a healing justice facilitator for social movements, living on Dakota and Anishinaabe land, currently known as Minneapolis. That's how I would do it in a professional voice.
And I'm Adrienne Marie Brown, a writer, student of miracles and love, emergent strategist, and pleasure activist, living on Anishinaabe territory, currently known as Detroit, Michigan.
I would say that's more of a erotic audiobook reader than professional, but let's go with it.
Yeah, we didn't say professional of what.
And this is How to Survive the End of the World.
Our podcast about learning from apocalypse with grace, rigor, and curiosity. And welcome to season 5.
Here we are.
5 seasons.
I know.
For real doing this, I guess, with our lives now.
Yeah. When we had that meeting where we were like, let's plan season 5, I was like, I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. Like, that's a real thing. Like 5 seasons in 4 years, you know?
Yeah.
2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Oh, I guess, this is 5 seasons, 5 years.
Math is tricky.
Whatever. It feels like 4 years.
Time is a construct. It's weird. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I mean, it is and it isn't.
It is and it isn't.
So what we know is we've been busting tail getting this podcast out, and then we took a break, and now we're back, and we're going to stick with the segments. That's one big thing we learned from last season.
People like the segments.
People like the segments. We like the segments.
Works for us.
And y'all like the segments. And it just kind of gives us a little bit of a shape to move into when we're having these conversations. So we're going to keep the segments. And the first segment is just checking in with each other. Yeah. So Autumn, how are you right now today?
Well, I have to say, right now, today, I've had a really good week. I had a really, really good week. I had a week that has involved a lot of sweetness and ease with my kids. And, and you know, the last, 2 years. But especially the last year, you know, it's been such a roller coaster that me and the kids have been on that I don't ever take for granted when we have 3 to 4 days in a row where things feel easy. Where it's like, you're just going to bed when I tell you to go to bed. And, you're just looking and you're staying in bed and you're expressing gratitude for the things I'm doing. That's nice. You know, that's
wow.
I know. You know, so it's, you know, I'm not hanging my hat on it. I know it's not permanent, but it's nice. It's really nice. And so it's been a good week in that regard. Weeks like this week, you know, when this episode airs, it will be beyond the point that we are right now inside of this renewed climate catastrophe moment where, you know, this deep cold that's fallen across so much of the U.S. and then is particularly deeply impacting everyone in the state of Texas, and just how many people have died and how many people are at risk, both because of climate catastrophe and also just infrastructure.
Yes.
And so in that context, I just feel I am so grateful to have a warm place to live and to feel I'm grateful for those, just the, you know, the fundamentals of being able to be secure and safe in my own home. So I think, this week has been like really just about noticing when there's sweetness and ease and being really grateful for it.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you?
I love that. I overall I'm doing good. Like if I was a 50-layer cake, like the top 35 layers are like great.
Delicious.
And I can delicious, tasty, many flavors. I don't know
Delicioso.
what that was. I was like, where is Dora? So, and then I think there's some perturbation underneath all of that
You said
is related
perturbation.
to, I said it and I meant it. And if you want to know what I mean, go look it up. So yeah, I feel that. I mean, what you said, it's just like we're in this moment where, you know, when I notice that I'm doing good or that things are going well, I'm also aware, right? I'm like, I'm warm, and there's a lot of people who are not warm, which is that to me is part of the rhythm of living in Detroit every year.
Right. Right.
And then it just, you know, right now it just feels like, oh, the changes in climate, the changes mean that suddenly a huge, much higher number of people are facing these crises. And with what part of me do I hold and respond and send my mutual aid and send my care in that direction?
Yeah.
While also staying centered in myself. And then there's also just the perturbations of changes. So I keep noticing how inside the stillness of my life in pandemic, I'm becoming so much more sensitive to a different range of changes in myself. So, like, you know, I used to be home just 2 to 4 days a month.
Right.
And so it's just like, who has time to notice how yourself is?
Right.
You're just flying everywhere. Right. And now that I'm home, I'm like, oh, I notice the difference in how I wake up from one day to the next and how I go to bed from one day to the next. And I've really been paying a lot of attention to my plants. This morning I did a bunch of repotting with my sweetheart of like, this should go here and this one can go in, this one's grown into a much bigger pot, and you know, all those kind of things. And I felt this awareness of, oh yeah, I'm such a plant. I'm such a plant. Like,
yes,
you can
are.
just really see.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm not watered, I will droop.
Right.
And I outgrow pots like a motherfucker. And I really need a certain relationship to sun and to song and all the things that my plants need. Like at a very fundamental level, I can really feel the plant self of me. And it's really delightful to have the time to be attuned to myself and to be tending and gardening myself.
What kind of plant are you?
Bromeliad.
I love how quickly you had an answer to that question.
Well, you know, my desk, quote unquote, the dining room table that I have requisitioned is covered in 2 massive aloe plants, 1 spider plant, and a little orchid, and then these 2 show off bromeliads. And I love them. Like they look like they're like, I'm heading towards a bird of paradise, but I'm right here right now. I don't know. There's just something that's like, I'm bombastic, but still really earthbound.
Holding still.
Really, I'm holding still. I have all these little, it's like a little rain catchment system, the way bromeliads are structured. So it's like, I'm learning how to water it. You know, I'm like, oh, I should pour water like you would receive water in nature. So from above, not directly into your soil. And just things like that. But they're very colorful, but still kind of humble plants. I don't know how to describe it, but I just, every time I'm around, I'm like, you and me, bromeliad. Like, let's kick it, you know? And we share the first 3 letters of our names. So.
That's right.
Bro-bros.
Bro-bros.
And you too could be in the bromeliad family, sister.
I could.
So that's overall how I'm doing. I've been staying warm inside I just never leave my house, so that is a new experience too. I'm just like,
yeah,
I went to the doctor, so I'll tell folks this. I had to go to the doctor because I have this piercing that I've had forever that got infected for no reason. Just was like, hey,
it just decided today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the
I
day.
actually think that it was my ear being like, we need to go outside. We just need to. Because I was like, I don't understand why this is happening. Nothing has changed externally. But, well, yeah, I have a whole other theory that I may or may not bring to this podcast. But anyway, my ear got infected and it swole up. And when it deswole, word I'm making up.
Yeah.
When it deswole, the back of the earring was living inside of the ear, the cartilage. Like it wasn't there was
In the
no
cartilage?
Yeah, it was like inside, right? Like the back, the hole in the back just grew closed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, on one level.
I feel like there should be a trigger
Is this-
warning accompanying the story.
Yes. I mean, none of it, like, it didn't, yeah. Sorry.
No,
trigger
keep going.
warning.
Keep going. Keep going. I'm good.
Everything medical for me, I'm always like, oops, too late. That's gross. But like when I was in it, I was just like, I'm the kind of person who's very like fascinated by even the gross, you know, like as something gross is happening with my body, I'm like,
Wow.
wow. Like my whole side of my head is pulsing. Like, could this impact my brain? What's going on? You know? So the doctor was like, this could not impact your brain, but it just could
But
be
it does-
uncomfortable for a while.
Does need to come out.
Let's take it out. So I want to say the doctor who did the surgery was so consent based, and it was really funny. like every step, like they numbed the whole side of my head in order to do it, and then at every step, he's like, "Now, do you feel this? How's this? Is this okay? How's that?" And I'm like, "It's all numb." And
Just do
if
it.
you didn't say anything, I wouldn't know that you were doing anything.
Just take it
Which
out.
would be my preference. I just want this out of my head. I don't want to know what you're doing. How's this? What about that? Do you feel that dripping? No. I was like, no, dripping? What? What's dripping?
Where would I possibly feel that?
Where could I feel dripping? Is it in my ear? And then he had this like assistant who was coming in, this younger guy who was like learning, which I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, so I'm like, oh, like, okay, I think I know what's going on here.
Right. That's what we call
because
an
I'm not.
intern.
Yes. So, and the guy kept looking at me, just making eyes, like, just kind of like, I know. It's a lot of questions. And I was just like, because I would get like little worry eyes, like, should I feel that?
Right.
How about this? Does this hurt? Does that hurt? Do you feel that? Do you feel that? And I was like, no. Like, God. Anyway, so long story short, I'm an earring less.
You're one earring
in my
less.
ears.
One earring less.
I'm one earring less, and I'm all right.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, this feels like a good moment to transition to our flume of rage.
Petty, angry.
Flume of rage. Flume of rage. Flume of rage. Flume of rage. The thing that is really bothering me is when people can't recognize bullying behavior as it's happening.
Ooh.
I just
Like
feel
the
like
bully or other people?
when other people can't recognize that someone is a bully. And, you know, I recognize that like that different people have different sort of we all have different levels of access to empathy. And even in a lifetime, our access to our capacity for empathy changes quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then there are some people who just don't experience a lot of empathy, and there are other people who experience, you know, too much empathy, right? That creates a whole other set of issues.
Leave me alone.
Stop talking about me. But I do think that there's something that I see this in relationships and in lots of different contexts, lots of different relational contexts, that one person will be engaging in behavior that's very obviously bullying, intimidating, manipulating, gaslighting, you know, undermining, all those things. And then, you know, watching the people around that person really like engaging all of these different stories to avoid having to see the behavior for what it is. And I think, you know, one of the things that one of the trainings that Aorta has done off and on over the years is like a bystander intervention training.
What's Aorta for people who...
Right, that's right. Aorta is the Anti-Oppression Resource and Training Alliance. So that's my political home. That's the site out of which I do all of my like political work.
Right.
And we do a lot of political education. And one of the things that on and off over the years we've done some political education around is bystander intervention.
Yes.
You know, which falls within a whole spectrum of you know, of work that people do around harm, intervening on harm, holding people accountable for harm, and also just creating conditions of community safety. And, you know, I think even though I knew rationally why that kind of training is necessary, it's becoming more obvious to me as I get further along in my life how, you know, it's not just that people need to be trained on how to intervene. People actually need to be trained on how to notice. how to notice or how to understand that the thing that they're seeing is what they're seeing. And
an intervention would even be useful.
Exactly, right? And I think for me it ties back to this underlying frustration that I have generally with humans, where I feel like all the humans, where I feel like, you know, we can look at story arcs in film, television, books, and see that, you know, there's a tacit acceptance of the idea that people do bad things. Tacit. And that is, you know, usually a primary motivator for many of the narratives that we consume, right? People do bad things.
Almost all of them.
And not that there's like good guys and bad guys or evil people and good people, but that people do bad things. But then in real life, I think sometimes there's like a struggle to recognize like people do bad things. And something has to be done about it.
People.
You know, like something has to be done. When someone does a bad thing, there should be a consequence for that bad thing that they did. And it doesn't have to be a high level consequence, but at the very least, we should be able to say, stop doing the bad thing. Don't do that bad thing.
Just don't do that.
So that's what bothers me is like it's like part of our brains knows that people do bad things and they should be stopped, but then it doesn't translate into real life often enough to say, I'm going to say stop. I'm going to say don't do that. If I hear you talking to that person that way, I'm going to stop you from doing it. It's not okay.
Yep.
It's not okay with me. It's not okay with me, you know, as opposed to I'm going to wait and see if the person who's the target of that behavior stands up for themselves. Well, sometimes people can't stand up for themselves, you know, or why should everyone have to, you know, if you're witnessing it, say something.
That's right.
That's bothering me. It's bothering me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful you said all that. It reminds me, I feel like a few years ago, I was feeling that rage. And I said something like, I was just like, we shouldn't be polite in the face of like white supremacy and capitalism and patriarchy. Like, I feel like so many of our problems stem from not noticing and being willing to step in the moment.
Yeah.
And so then things either build up to needing a massive intervention. Because I'm like, there's so many things. I'm like, if we just said in real time, that's not okay.
Right. That's not ethical. That's not fair.
That's not fair. That's not kind. That's not aligned with the values of this place. But that's how those systems are structured. Like all of those systems are structured to kind of demand us to be kind in the face of them. And so I really appreciate you saying that. It's just like the bullying happens inside each of those systems.
Yeah. And it happens to me, that's where shit is happening at the level of individual and interpersonal responsibility. Like there's a lot that I as an individual may not have personal responsibility or capacity or influence to do anything about. But those kinds of behaviors I do, and other people do too.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. It's like noticing
thing.
if you could do something, do something.
Exactly.
That's
Systems
my
are made up of people.
Exactly. That's my flume.
And I was just talking to someone today who was like, "Do you know the song?" Oh, it was Sage Crump, my Emergent Strategy Ideation Institute co-worker.
Sage Crump.
The great Sage. And Sage was like, "You know, Small Acts, the Bob Marley song. It's really important to be the small acts, like these big systems, these big trees. Like we all have to be small. That's the small acts moment of like, I see the big system of patriarchy and how you're bullying this person,
right?
And I will
small axe that exactly.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Really good. So my flume of rage is at a different level, but also really important to me, which is the stingy recycling program here in Detroit. I'm so upset every time it's recycling day because, I mean, on one hand, we have recycling that gets picked up from our homes, which is a huge, wonderful thing,
right?
Which was fought for and organized for. And like, we finally got it. And I'm like, fucking yay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what I'm that kind of girl. I want to just put the recycling out in front of my house. I used to drive it like as a Saturday spiritual home practice. I used to load my vehicle up and take it over to the recycling center and like put in all the things. I also found some joy in that. But now it's such a wonderful thing to just be like, it's being picked up in front of the home. But it's pandemic, and which means there's a lot more recycling happening, at least in my home, and I think in a lot of homes, because
you're there.
I can no longer go and, you know, use my reusable bags at the grocery store.
Right.
You know, that like, so there's tons more bags, and then there's just more boxes because more things are being delivered that I normally would have gone out and bought somewhere, you know, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really committed to recycling. My sweetheart is really committed to recycling.
Right.
She runs a business, so we also get massive shipments of stuff.
Right.
So we ordered 2 additional recycling bins to the house, which you pay for, right? So like we are a big recycling building.
Right.
It's a whole building of us, and we have like 5 bins now or something. So you can see our commitment to this. And so when we put it out, if we go and we fill up all the bins plus some over the course of the 2 weeks, we very neatly still break it all down and put it out there to be picked up. And I don't understand what the recycling people are thinking when they come and they see that beautifully broken down, organized box, that it's just like, just also pick that box up, you know? Like I dumped all the bins in, and then there's one more box full of stuff that is recyclable stuff. And I hope, you know, maybe our readers will be like, well, here's the reason why they can't do that. You know, here's what's going on.
Right.
The truck can't pick up that box or whatever it is. But I'm like, we are paying all the money that we're supposed to pay here to help out with this program. We're doing all the work on our side to like break it down to make sure it's in the right place. And then it just gets left there. So it's like we come and it's like 5 empty bins, and then
that box
has often been knocked by the truck or knocked over by some other vehicle or something else. And so then we just have this strewn about situation where it's like, okay, now we're just going to have to move that box into the other bins. And now it's going to be too full again in 2 weeks when you come back, right?
Man, every 2 weeks.
Nothing is open. There's no else. And it's only 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if y'all were doing it weekly, maybe that would help. But it's every 2 weeks that they're picking it up. And anyway, it feels like there's, you know, I'm just sort of like, what's happening here? And like, what would the adjustment look like so that this doesn't keep happening? Because now we're just building up.
Right.
You know, the whole building is still committed to like the stuff being recycled, and not just going in the trash.
Right.
So now our alley is just becoming this place of extraneous recyclable hopefuls, you know. Also rants. I too am a can. I too am a glass, you know. I too am a box full of boxes.
Right.
So it's
infrastructure.
It's infrastructure.
Clearly.
And it's like, this is where I can't wait for the future in which emergence is more tied into how infrastructures move. So it's like, oh, this is an adaptation that 11 months in, I think we could have figured out that everyone is recycling more because everyone is getting more delivery. And what could emerge from that? Like,
right.
How could that actually be an abundance that we don't ever leave on the street, but that we pick up and find other ways to make use of? So
that's a beautiful vision. That's a beautiful vision. I love how like specific to home your flume is. Really appreciate that.
Yes, because everything is happening here. This is where my life is. So it's a new experience.
It's a beautiful
this is something
thing
that I think my neighbors used to always be the ones who like don't, and now I'm like, I
am joining the group of people who have hard feelings about this.
I have hard feelings about this. All right. So,
fifth season.
Exhale. Here we are.
Here we are.
Post-rage.
We love the fifth season, and now we are in a fifth season.
I know.
It's amazing.
So yeah, 5 seasons in, we wanted to give y'all just a little sense of what you can expect from this season, because each season has some specificities to it. And this one, we're bringing in some elements that you like. So these segments that y'all gave us positive feedback on, we're going to do more of those. And we're also going to do, so last season, one of the biggest hits of our entire podcast ever was the Apocalypse Survival Series that you produced, Autumn. And people are just like hungry for more and more of that. So do you want to share a little bit about, you know, what could happen, what you foresee happening with the additional survival skills stuff?
Yeah, it's like, it's so exciting how that mini series was received and what becomes possible coming next. And
yes.
We are, in addition to our mainstay episodes that we're going to be producing over the course of this season, we are going to be producing shorts, so Apocalypse Survival shorts. The thing that we haven't quite figured out yet is where in the season they are going to air. It depends on the speed with which we can pull some of the content together. So listeners can expect that it may be something that we start dropping periodically between regular episodes. It may be something where we drop the content all at once at a later point in the year. But the idea is that we want to be able to give, we want to be able to talk about and give some context and instruction for some more of what we would consider to be like the hard skills of apocalypse survival, but in more bite-sized chunks. So not so much you know, there was so much beauty in the mini series last year with we did hour to hour and a half long interviews with people. And we know that people are hungry for, you know, specifics that are easy to consume. And of course, so many of us are home so much more right now, which means we're not necessarily getting to like listen to podcasts while we're commuting in the car or on the train or doing whatever, you know, like the way that people are consuming podcasts might also be changing because of the pandemic. Yeah. And so we want to be able to give people some short content as well. So that's coming. It's not coming right away. We're still figuring out the shape of it, but we're going to be talking about some of those more specific skills. We might bring back some of the special guests from last season, but of course we'll be bringing in new voices as well. So exactly. It's going to be exciting.
I'm really excited. And I feel like my commitment is to just not mess it up, because I feel like you really did it well. And I was away, and I'm like, I'm here.
Well, I don't think you could mess it up, girl. And I think it's going to be really fun to to share that work of interviewing people and bringing in some of those skills, you know, because I think we have two different brains. You'll ask different questions than I would ask, and that is going to be cool for people to see too.
So we do have different brains.
We do have different brains. And obviously,
that's been a major question throughout
obviously
the podcast.
Our brains often share thoughts, And one of the things that our listeners might not know is that
Telepathy.
oftentimes Adrian and I will be sharing a thought about a thing, and we won't realize it until like months into the process of having those thoughts. And that's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's almost like we're sisters.
It's like we're sisters or something. And it feels like a good moment to share with people that the other day I was excited about being able to do a watch, one of these programs where we can watch stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, I've been really enjoying Telepathy through Netflix. And
right.
I legitimately, without any hesitation, was just like, so actual telepathy is working for you. That's amazing. I was just like, cool. I'm about it. Just show me how to do it.
Right.
I'm here for it.
And I was like, oh, that was a typo. I meant teleparty. But
but I was ready.
You were so ready. You were so ready for telepathy.
Finally. All right. So.
And that feels like a good segue to talk about like
exactly.
one of the things that's going to happen in this season that is about to unfold.
Yes. So this is a podcast of siblings, right? This is us in our sisterhood, talking about the ways that we see the world. And we are not just sisters, but we're sisters who are in relationship to movement, in relationship to trying to change the world around us in some ways, some major ways. And we have spent most of our adult lives especially talking about those ways and learning from each other, shaping each other, influencing each other, moving together at times. And, sometimes I see us like that scene in Star Wars where Rey and what's his name?
Kylo Ren are like back to back, and they just had their lightsabers unleashed. Mm-hmm.
Like, we're working different parts of the space, but we're like united in what we're doing,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not the only siblings in movement doing that.
Exactly.
Right? So we are super excited this season to invite some other dynamic duos, some other sibling pairs to come join us on the show and to talk about what it means to have a familial background, to really share the shaping of family, and then to come into a particular moment in history where movement is growing and divergent and changing, and to then find yourself in two places within that, or multiple places as you go through life's changes. Right. So we're super excited about it. I can share with y'all a few of the people who've already said yes.
Yay!
So we're going to get to speak with Leah and Naima Penniman. So Leah, we heard from last season
mm-hmm.
in the Apocalypse Survival series. Naima, you've known since college.
Yeah, Naima and I went to school together.
And Naima is a poet organizer. Leah is a farmer organizer.
Mm-hmm.
They're both super dynamic, powerful healer sisters, and they're going to be on the show with us.
We're so excited. I feel like in a way the four of us have been manifesting this for some time.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've been like, we'll do a sister retreat. We'll do this. We'll do that. And it's like, let's just get a conversation.
Yeah.
that would be a huge step in the right direction. So they said yes. We have a yes from Nana Khanna and Navina Khanna, who are incredible siblings who I have known and worked with many, many times over the years. But Nana and I first met back in the League of Pissed Off Voters and kind of like fell in love trying to figure out like, okay, it's not elections, but like, how do we change everything?
Right.
And Nana went on to be the founder of the Positive Women's Network for organizing women with HIV/AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
And that work has been super incredible. Navina is a food justice warrior and has started network after network after network of people who are moving food justice in the world. And so they're going to come and join us.
Mm-hmm.
And then one other pair who I can name that already said yes is Makani Thimba and Robin D.G. Kelly.
Oh, my God.
I'm super geeked about both of them. I look up to them like, writers, strategists, thinkers, cultural shapers, and they're a generation above me.
Right.
And they're siblings who I am always amazed. Actually, a lot of people don't even know they're siblings.
I didn't
I'm
know.
Hey, they are siblings. They're super cute siblings, and we're excited to have them on the show. So that is just a taste. We've also invited several other pairs of siblings, and we'll be unveiling, them as we go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really, really, really excited to just see what this feels like, because I know that whenever we interact with other people, they're like, it's so exciting that we are doing this podcast because we are siblings, and what it feels like to be immersed in the relationship. And our promise to you all as listeners is that we will have conversations that are not super insular, right? Like, we work hard to make sure that our sibling conversations can actually translate to you as someone who may not have siblings, as someone who may not like your siblings, as someone who has a variety of, chosen and blood family in the world. We always try to make sure that what we're offering can be broader than that.
Yeah.
And we're really interested in this piece too. It's like, what does it mean to be family, to bring family into movement, to root into family? And eventually, I think we all want to be able to be in a relationship of chosen family with tons of people and tons of siblings. So, some best practices hopefully will come out of that.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Excited.
Yeah.
And then another thing we're looking to bring to y'all, which we have threatened ourselves for several seasons now, is merch.
We're trying. We are out here trying.
We are out here trying
to get ourselves in the way of merch.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think for two anti-capitalists, we're doing great.
Yeah. We're so good.
It's only taken us 4.5 to 5 years to decide, like, we're done to really do this. And, like, we did do the partnership with Dorian Midnight, and there is still this beautiful tincture that you can get.
Right.
And we do have, so many of you are patrons of us. Meaning you support our work in an ongoing fashion. So initially we wanted to just create some merch for y'all, because we're like, you give us so much, you make it so possible for us to do this. You should have a t-shirt, you should have a fanny pack, you should have something.
Right.
So this is going to be the year where we figure that something out, and we have a very exciting designer working on it named Nala Zidane, the founder of the Yazi Clothing Company, a degendered clothing company. So we think they're going to make something very, very, very fly.
They do make excellent things. They make excellent things.
They really have upgraded I didn't know sweatpants could feel like that. And
me neither.
I'm really biased, of course, because I love them. But also I'm just like, I don't know. We might end up with like a velvet fanny pack or just something outrageous.
Oh, that's what I want. I've just been wanting a fanny pack the whole time.
That's me too. Yeah. Well, then let's just say it's a fanny pack.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I mean,
can we just decide that now?
Yeah, it's a fanny pack. That's what we're bringing into the world as a fanny pack.
That's what we're bringing to you. We're doing it in 2021. It's happening.
Yes.
All right. So that's what's coming.
That's what's coming.
Now, I think we should talk a little bit about like what else is going on in the world. So I wanted to ask you a question or two. And you can ask me these same questions back, or if you have some other question. But what else besides our amazing podcast? What else are you excited about in 2021, Autumn?
Yeah. You know what's weird about 2021 is like, I feel like I'm still arriving in this year, you know?
Same.
I mean, every year there's that point in the year where you realize you're still writing the last year on your checks, you know?
Like,
and you have to be like, oh, right, it's 9/20/2020, da, da, da. So
it takes you till September.
It's like, it takes me until September. No, but hopefully it won't take me until September this year. But, you know, every year there's that. But this year especially feels like it hasn't felt like a total clear demarcation between last year and this year, because so many of the conditions are the same. But
now, Mia Birdsong is actually like, this is the 13th and now 14th month of 2020.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Let's just keep
but I can say, so things that I'm excited about this year. So what just happened this month is that my short story that was originally published in Octavia's Brood just got reprinted in Lightspeed magazine. And that literally just like it dropped, I think today or yesterday on the website, but it's also available in the ebook that Lightspeed publishes every month. And that was really amazing to experience because they actually came to me and asked to reprint the story. And
for folks who may not know, Lightspeed is like one of the powerhouse sci-fi magazines. Like, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal for sci-fi writers.
I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So that just happened, and it feels very potent because I am I'm re-entering a period where I'm going to be trying again to finish my book. And for those of our listeners who've been like following my journey around my book, it's been quite a like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back kind of process. And you know, I was on the cusp of finishing my book in the spring of 2019, and then had to set the work aside because of what I was going through in my personal life, and the fact that I just really had to put a protective wall around my creative work. And then I wasn't able to, it took so long to stabilize that my life that I wasn't able to return to the book until August 2020 when I had a 2-week writing residency. And then fall 2020 was what it was, and winter 2020 was what it was, you know. You know, it's like it's really continued to be such a fight for me to like make room for creative work in my life. But I remain really committed to finishing this book, and I remain really excited about the book. And so the thing I'm most looking forward to in 2021 is like bringing that project over the finish line, and finding a publisher, like doing all of the things that you have to do in order to actually like then bring the book into the world. So that feels exciting. I'm also doing some nonfiction writing right now that I feel really excited about. So on the day of the inauguration, January 20th, I published on my blog a piece that I had been working on for several months, called White Danger, on the subject of double consciousness in white people. And I'm imagining it as the first in a series of essays that I'm going to be writing that are really structured around the work that I've been doing around whiteness for over a decade. And so it feels really good to be putting this analysis and like this, basically putting the theoretical ground for my work out into the world in a different way. And so I'm looking forward to getting to just put more of that work into the world and see how it lands for folks and how it's resonating and whether the concepts make sense in this format, you know? So this really, to me, I did a year ahead tarot spread on my birthday, and one of the themes that came through so strongly for me from November 2020 to November 2021 was the power of words. And so I'm really putting a lot of focus into like using the power of my words as responsibly as possible, but also not being afraid of my own power as a communicator and as a writer. So, yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Very exciting,
That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
As one of your biggest fans as a writer, I'm like, now that is on my list of excitements. So I'm just
Thank
like,
you.
yes, I want to see all those things. And for me, I'm excited about a lot of things that are also written projects this year. I'm aiming for a 3-book year. So
3-book year. 1, 2,
exactly.
3.
3-book year. So it may or may not play out that way, but I figured, why not aim for it?
Why not aim high?
Ursula Le Guin did it. You know, Ursula Le Guin did it at least once, I think maybe a couple times, and in multiple genres. And I'm like,
I didn't know that.
You know, I want to try. Yeah, I figured out because I did this Ursula Le Guin sci-fi reader that's finally coming out this year. That's like beautifully designed, and it's actually going to happen. And when I was doing the bibliography for it, I was like, wait a second, those all came out the same year. And what it awakened a new hunger in me of like, well, what kind of writing practice would I need to be in order to do something like that?
Seriously.
And I'm like, well, I already have a book that's slated to come out in the spring, Holding Change.
That's
the
right.
facilitation and mediation one. So that's like coming. And then I have a novella, a fiction novella that I've written about Detroit that has been sitting in the wings, waiting to be seen. And I found someone who wants to publish that. And then I have a collection of like short stories and poems that I think I could also easily put out this year. Some of them are already published. Some of it's not.
Right.
You know, that's how these collections happen. So, so that's the goal, which feels like a really like ambitious, large scale, hefty writing goal for me.
If anyone
And
can do it,
I feel
it's
really-
you.
I also feel like if it's possible for me to do it, I want to know that.
Yeah.
And I want to know because I'm like, then I want to do that forever. Like I just want to do a ton of books. Like I have so much to say. Like
So
I'm
much
thinking
to
about
say,
so many
much to
different
say.
things all the time.
Right. Right.
And I'm noticing in myself, I think I become a better listener when I have good places to pour out my thoughts.
Yeah, word. Totally.
Right? I'm also excited. This year, I have 3 podcasts happening in the world. And in all of them, so this one
Right.
is the like foundational home podcast. And then Octavia's Parables, we're diving into the parable of the talents this year.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm super geeked about. We're about to kick that off. And then for Emergent Strategy Ideation Institute, Sage and Mia and I interviewed all these different people, including you, sister.
That's true.
Who they're like, you are emergent strategists to us. You are people who we see practicing and doing emergent things in the world. And we really want to, it's part of a decentralization effort, really, right? It's just like, so many people are practicing and living and doing emergent strategy in the world.
Totally.
And one of the things that has happened is people like Adrian is emergent strategy. And I'm like, I am emergent strategy, as is Sage, as is Mia, and as are these 50 people we interviewed.
Right.
And we could easily do another 50 every year, every couple months. You know, there's so many people practicing it right now.
Right.
So we wanted some place to start to uplift and shine a light on just how far this modality is moving. This framework is moving.
Word.
So that's exciting. My commitment across all 3 of them is to just keep deepening my listening and like interrupting less, being more present with like how the rhythm of the conversation is actually going and making sure I'm really listening. Which, you know, I get so excited. And so I'm like, how can I be an excited listener?
That's such a good question.
It's
right,
because it's a big question.
I mean, this is my whole problem. Like, I feel like I've gotten really good at like, I've gotten much better at not interrupting verbally, but I'm totally a nodder. And even that, I think, can be very, some people are like, I mean, I've experienced this too, right? Sometimes when people are nodding at you while you're talking, it feels like good and affirmative. But then other times it feels like, why are you nodding? What? You know, it's like, it can be disorienting because then sometimes people interpret me nodding as me already knowing the thing that they're saying, which then makes them feel undermined, which is real, you know? So it's hard to be a human out here trying to communicate.
It's so hard.
And be
It's so
excited
hard.
at the same time.
You know, we are family, so there's a rhythm that I get a lot of pleasure from the way we communicate, which is sometimes tumbling over each other like the rapids.
Right.
You know, and I'm
exactly.
just like, I know that you're hearing me while also saying whatever you're saying.
Right.
It works for me.
It's a skill.
And it's a skill. Or a flagrant lack of skill. Like it's one or the other, right? I don't know which one it is, but it's like it feels like the way that I'm most present. And
it's a family way.
Deeping into these different relationships with people, including other people in our family, like our sister, I'm like, wait, how do I actually show this person that I'm with them? and
Right.
how do I adapt to be with them? And it's been really beautiful. Nalo and I are doing this thing called Black Honey for this new app called Clubhouse, where we're reading all about love together out loud, and then we converse about it. And I feel like it's one of the places I'm like, oh yeah, how do I do this with Nalo? How do I do this with Toshi? How do I do this with Autumn?
Right.
How do I do this with all these different guests? Like, I actually have plenty of places to be heard in my life now.
Totally.
So how do I trust that and let my excitement be grounding rather than bubbling up like champagne? Like, I'm like, how do I let it be rooting down like tree roots?
Yeah.
I think the only other thing I want to mention that I'm super excited about is the Octavia Butler Tarot deck.
Ooh.
Yes.
I want to know the timeline.
It's happening. So the goal is by her birthday on June 21st. Like that we're still oriented towards that as a goal. And it's a pandemic goal. So now that, for me, the pandemic goal, and this maybe transitions us into the next question I have, is pandemic goals. I feel like it's really changed my relationship to time. Is I'm like, we'll set that as a goal, but if we're all trying to survive and it's too much, then it might be a month after that or a couple months after that.
Right.
And everyone will still be happy when this tarot deck arrives.
Right. I mean, it's great. Like it's a labor of love, so it really is whatever timeline you want it to be on.
It's a labor of love, and we have some of the most dynamic, incredible artists and oracles, and I mean, it's just a beautiful team of people. And so it's one of those things where the adage is true: if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to actually make the most beautiful deck of all time, go together. So or one of the most beautiful things, it really, the art alone, I'm like, every day I go and look at the art that's been submitted for it. We got some incredible artists, and I just go look, and I'm like, I can't believe that this is being tied in with Octavia's wisdom, and that people are going to read this and it'll shape their day or their relationship or how they're viewing their life in that moment.
Right.
So
yeah, it's amazing too to think about. Like, I just think about the power that gets imbued in tarot decks once they're in the hands of people too. That like they change and they come to take on whole new meanings as they are used, and it's like so cool to think about the futures of this deck. Because of all of the thousands to possibly millions of people who are going to hold this deck and use this deck and like draw their futures from this deck. Like that is very cool.
And this amazing organizer, Chelsea Cleveland, like dreamed the deck and really dreamed it as something that could be in a go bag, right?
Wow.
Like,
I didn't know Chelsea was
really
it. This was Chelsea's idea?
Yeah, so Chelsea had this dream and like woke up from this dream and was like, we should make this deck. And me, I've been wanting to make an Octavia Butler deck forever and ever. And I was just like, oh, that'll just happen when I'm 80. But then Chelsea dreamed it like this needs to happen. Wow. I was like, yes, that sounds super geeked out. We reached out to Alta Star, who's like the super oracle. It has like 80 tarot decks. And we're like, let's do this. And then we asked Lottie Spady to come on as an herbalist. And Lottie is like the Detroit herbalist, like hands in the dirt. Let's learn about the moon. Let's figure it all out. So that team came together. And then Krista Franklin came on as the art director. And now we just have Damon Davis, Soraya John Lewis McElroy. We have Paul Levin, who has done like many of the covers of Octavia's work over the years. Wow. John Jennings, who did the cover of Octavia's Brood, who did the graphic novels. And then Crystal Clarity, who's like this incredible movement artist who does all this murals and like it's just outrageous.
That sounds so exciting.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous. So I'm like a fan of this thing that I can't believe I'm also getting to work on, and I'm really geeked out about it. And that question, the last question I had for us before we moved into the our top culture moment was, how has the pandemic changed you? And I think for me, that's that's the way the pandemic has changed me, has been like my relationship to projects and time, or work in time.
Yeah.
Is that I feel like I've always moved at such a fast clip. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no slowing down. There's no, it's just like, we said we were going to be done by this time, and this is when we will be done. And whatever happens, it's going to be done. And everything has to go so fast. And right now I'm just like, everything has to go at the pace that it needs to go.
Yeah.
Every project needs breath. Every project needs to be able to pause if there's like a takeover the Capitol or something like that.
Right.
And be present with, what's happening in the world, right? And
Right.
Ted Cruz is the one person staying warm throughout the, freezing.
We might just have to
cold
pause
snap.
and acknowledge that.
We might just have to pause, and I'll make memes to make fun of him.
Right.
Whatever is happening in real time in a given moment, we need to be with. I feel like right now the pandemic has shown me how much, like, if we're going to know this much about what's happening in the world, we also need to give ourselves time to be able to be with it, respond to it, grieve, feel it, and then recenter and come back into the work. And I'm really grateful for all the different partnerships I'm in, because it feels like everyone is in this kind of relating to time. Like, that urgency was never good for us anyway.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a chance to like be in a pace that works for us, or works a little better. How do I land and find myself inside that pace?
I love that.
And if I still want to work too fast, I can just do a solo project. Like, it's
Right.
fine.
Right. It's like you can just take that energy and then channel it where it belongs.
Exactly. What about you? Is there anything you would point to as the way pandemic has changed you?
Well, I was having a conversation with my coach yesterday, and I was just sharing with her like just some of what I had been through in the last 6 months, and how grounded I continue to feel in spite of all these different things, some of which were like truly outrageous, things that I had to navigate over the last 6 months. And she was pointing out to me, she's like, Autumn, it really seems like you've kind of like leveled up to this different, both like a different place in your career, but also a different place in yourself. Like you're like in this, you're kind of like ascending in some way to a different zone.
I love that.
And we were talking about like how mysterious the concept of resilience actually is. How like there's all these people who are researching and writing about it and like trying to understand what it is, but like fundamentally we don't really understand why some people have a lot of resilience and some people don't. And she was like kind of reflecting that back to me of like your resilience is so like out of scale. And what was cool in that moment was to realize that like the pandemic is giving me this opportunity to like see my resilience in real time, and to see that it's not me. My resilience is not me sort of like crouching and barreling. It is really me being like, I am a pillar, and I'm 100% capable of like standing in my truth in this moment, regardless of what else is happening. And that doesn't mean I'm inflexible. It just means I'm super in touch with every part of who I am, no matter,
That's right.
I'm not like numbing out. I'm not defending myself. I'm not doing a lot of the things that I had to do for so many years. And it feels really cool. It feels like I was already on this trajectory, and then I think the way that the pandemic has changed me / my trajectory is that the pandemic has forced me, or has given me the opportunity to really be aware of what's happening, and to be aware of how differently I'm moving through crisis than I have in the past. Because the thing you were describing of like, when you're not going anywhere, and there's, when you are when you're recovering so much more of your time, then you really can see what's happening, you know? And so it's like, I'm really getting to see what's happening inside me. And I have to say, I'm so pleased. Like, I'm so pleased with where I am, and so pleased with how strong I feel, and so pleased that, you know, I'm so pleased about the decisions I made over the last couple of years that got me here, because I feel really like, wow, I had to take some really big risks. I had to do some things that I was really scared to do. And I'm reaping the rewards of taking those risks and doing things even though I was scared. And now I'm like, oh, my life feels so good. And it's not that not that things aren't hard. Like, of course, everything is still hard, but like, I feel good. I feel good inside myself. So that's, I always hesitate to give the pandemic credit for anything, but I do think.
I mean, that's what it's like. I think of it as the conditions created by dealing and facing with, you know, the pandemic.
Yes.
Like, this is something that I would never have wished on my worst enemy. I would not wish this amount of grief and loss on us. I keep thinking we can't handle it, and then we keep handling it.
Right.
And
right.
I keep looking back and being like, okay, throughout history, this is what happens. This is what history is made of, these kind of moments of overwhelming circumstances that you either rise to meet or that overwhelm you and that you get lost in or you get found in.
Right.
And I really feel, you know, there's the constant fear of like, this pandemic still might take my life. It still might take the lives of other people I love.
Right.
So that's also constantly present. Is in this moment, I'm learning to live more fully in relationship to a closer and closer mortality.
Yeah.
And it's such a particular way to walk, way to move through the world. I'm excited to talk about our top culture as we close out tonight, because I feel like culture, I can't stand culture enough. Like, I'm just like, there's so much incredible culture happening that's helping us get through this. That might be the other thing that's changed. Is I'm like, I feel unapologetic about anything that entertains me, about anything that's getting me through this. So I can go first, or you can go first. Do you have a?
I have two things.
I'm ready.
One is Bridgerton.
Yes, Shonda did it again.
All is fair in love and war.
I have watched the show all the way through twice, and listeners know I'm like not even I can no longer really put myself in the category of people who are serious TV watchers. And I have watched very little television for the last couple of years, but I watched that entire ass show twice because it's so entertaining. And I love fantasy, obviously, but I especially love like alternate history fantasy, where it's like, you know, and I loved just like surrendering myself into the Bridgerton landscape, where it's like, in this alternate history, like, there's been some big change that happened that made it so everyone is like living together in diversity. And we're going to going to barely at all comment on it. It's just it's just a fact it's a fact of the environment. It's part of the world. We've established it, and it's going to be commented on like twice over the course of the entire arc of the show. But that's it. Otherwise, we're just living in this world in which everyone's diverse, or all the like interracial couples everywhere, all the things. And I was like, I surrender. I love this. I love what feels possible in a world like this. So that was my thing. I've watched it through twice now. I probably am going to watch it all the way through again because it's it's just so pleasurable to watch. I just
love the world of it. Like,
I love
actual colors and
the costumes, the wigs, the queen's wigs. My God. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
The badass black queen.
The badass black queen. I love her. And all of her hairdos. and I will also say, like, I think the sex is not as X-rated as everyone made it out to be, but also
No,
feels
but
like
still, yeah.
probably really accurate. But also, yeah, like, you know, that actor who plays the Duke, he is, you know, he is not hard to watch do anything. So
It grows on you specifically between the thighs.
but yeah, I was like very happy about that. And then my one other top culture thing is not, it's like, it's commentary on the culture. And I read this amazing, very short book called 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media Accounts Right Now. And it really forced me to reckon with the impact of algorithms on my brain and on my relationships and on society as a whole. And I'm still in a deep consideration of the invitation that the author makes in the book to, you know, and he's not saying like delete permanently forever, but he's like, take 6 months and just live without it and see how your life feels. And also basically saying, like, if people don't start leaving these platforms, then technologists will never develop new ones that have different business models. So someone has to do it, right? That's the framework, is like the business model is fundamentally inhumane. And if we don't actually walk away from it, then no one is going to develop the new ones, or they won't be able to, they won't gain enough market share, right? That people will actually use them.
That's right.
So I feel it's very, very, very compelling. I highly recommend that anyone read it who wants to. I'm really excited. As I've been talking about this more, I'm getting really good recommendations from listeners and from friends for additional reading or additional documentaries that we could be watching that are specifically looking at racism inside of these digital systems. And so I'm excited. I'm just continue on this, like, I'm on like a personal research journey. I'll keep going and I'll keep reporting back.
I'm so excited you're on that journey, and I can't wait because Janine de Novage, the beloved, is writing a book that I think is going to be part of that. Anyway, she's writing a book that's going to be part of that research. So my top culture things, first of all, affirm yours. We're in Black History Month as we're recording this, and everything about Black History Month is awesome. My top culture.
Yes.
I'm like, I could use this all the time, all year long, all the time.
All the time.
But I really love all the different creators who harness this time and offer such beautiful things. So I just feel like there's so much more uplifting of people, so much more photography, so much more art, so much more honoring. And I've been really happy because Rachel Cargill and I have both been offering different prompts, and from different places, from different like instigations inside of Black History Month. But mine are like writing prompts, right? Like write about stuff. And I really feel like the ancestors are the top culture inside my top culture, because I feel like literally every morning I'm waking up and I'm getting these ancestral messages that are like, here's the next thing to write about.
Cool.
And Rachel Cargill is doing a series that are like, go Google this. It's basically an instigation for people to go learn something new about Black history that they didn't know. So it's like, go Google this inventor, go Google this, like go learn something, right? And I think it's just but I see so many people just like, here's what we have to offer into this month. And it's so delicious. I also made a commitment to reading Black authors this month. And Stacey Abrams, I think we may have talked about this here, but Stacey Abrams writes romance novels under a pen name Selena Montgomery.
That's right.
I'm reading Reckless right now, and it's in that Bridgerton category where it's like everything is throbbing and like, you just brush against somebody and everything's wet and like it's moist. It's
very moist, so very throbbing.
It's very, very sensual. Very, and I'm romance novels are not generally like the place I go to, so it feels like just a wildly other experience to immerse myself in.
So true.
Love it. Yeah, I'm just like, I read either non-fictional strategy books or like science fictional stuff that's very like light on the romance. You know,
Right,
it's just like
right.
we're fighting aliens. Also, we fucked. You know, like I'm like, oh wait, this is like emphasis on the sex and emphasis on the romance, and there's flower petals and there's like dates and stuff.
Oh, flower petals.
Yes. So also flower petals. For Valentine's Day, which I've always been kind of like ugh, whatever Valentine's Day. Nalo did like flower petal things.
Okay,
and
see, you're
that's
like
my partner.
Valentine's Day until you have a partner who can show you
Who does Valentine's Day
Day.
or like not just Valentine's Day, because I feel like it's like who does romance.
Yes.
Right? Like when you have a
Yes.
partner who's like, oh, like romance is one of my languages.
Romance is awesome.
It changes how romance feels. Because I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel capitalist. It just feels like, why wouldn't I have rose petals strewn all over the floor in a home spa experience that you created for me? That's great.
That sounds
you know?
awesome.
So that was a top culture. I also got a Nintendo Switch, and I have been killing it on all the old Mario games.
Of course you
that-
have. It's like
Well,
maybe not
by killing
surprising.
it, I mean literally killing my characters over and over again.
Oh, I
but
see.
I'm enjoying
You're
it.
enjoying it. Well, I was
And I'm
I was
learning.
gonna say I'm not surprised because I think that one of the things that our listeners maybe don't know is that you are really, really good at Super Mario. Because why would
Really
they know? That's not a thing that
Why would
like
they know
it's not
that?
one of those things that we are out here talking about how we still play Super Mario sometimes when we go home.
Exactly.
And I
Exactly.
feel like I used to be as good as you. My skills have waned quite a bit, but I feel like you're still really,
You
really
can come
good at
back.
it.
I'm still really good, but I also it's because like every time we're home, I really put in work. Like every time we're with our parents, we're the old like we have an old Nintendo
The, like,
that I can't believe it still
Vintage
works.
NES
Like,
system. Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. And we just have 2 games, like Mario. You know, the Mario
Super Mario World.
collection that has like the original 4 worlds, and then the one with Yoshi.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Super Mario.
That's Super Mario.
So now with this new one, with the Switch, the game is like, it's like Super Mario Deluxe Universe or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's new worlds, but it's a lot of the same elements. Like I'm like, there's the flying bats. Here's the little mushrooms.
Here's the flowers
Now I
that
have wings.
spit fire.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Everything's spitting fire. So I'm really loving it, and I'm just loving again. Like I'm like, all right, games are so important.
Games are awesome.
And this one has a way that 2 people can be in the same world as for a turn. Autumn, I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever.
Oh
it's
my
also
god!
very hard.
I bet it's
But,
really
like, if
hard
you wanna
because you have
talk
to
about,
coordinate
like,
in order to
learning
get through the world.
function as a couple, yes. This shit is so helpful. Like I'm like,
It's therapy.
Baby, don't jump on my head. Wait, let me boost you up. Okay, let's plan out how we like use our lives so we can get through. You know this thing that's going to take many of our lives to learn how to get through. We're having a blast. So
I love it.
Really
I'm
excellent.
so glad for you.
and I think that's all the top culture that I need to share.
Okay.
I've got so many.
I know you have. I know
But
you're always
I'm gonna,
sitting
like,
on
just
some stuff that you're
spread
just
them
gonna.
out.
Yes, just keep your list going, and as the season unfolds, and as we talk to our sibling guests, there will be room to bring all of it into the world. Thanks for listening to our show. We're on Twitter and Instagram at End of the World PC. We're also on Facebook at End of the World Show.
You can make a sustaining donation to our show by visiting our page at patreon.com/endoftheworldshow.
Another incredible thing you could do to help our show sustain itself is to write us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you are an iPhone person, thank you.
How to Survive the End of the World is produced and edited by the #1 baby daddy, Zach Rosen.
Music for today's show comes from Tunde Alaniran and Mother Cyborg.
All right. I love you.
I love you too. I'm
I
turning
love
this off.
everyone.